Hey everyone, welcome to Z's Bees. I want to continue my series in my shop about doing some DIY stuff to really save some money. So as September comes to an end, October is here, we should really all be starting to think about winter preparation. For me, I'm in Northeast Wisconsin, and that means that we have some really cold winters. Last year I sent some hives out to California. There was a big die-off. I was part of that, lost some hives there. I did have some success, if you go back a couple years on my YouTube videos, about overwintering different ways, and I think that was good, but it's also something that I wanted to improve on. So I want to build some my own candy boards and insulation tops, and I'll do some videos as how I'm going to use that. But let me just show you the finished products on what I'm going to show you how to make. So we have the foil face candy board, and that has 1-inch insulation. We'll go through how I decided to construct this. And then I also have 2-inch pink insulation board, and I'll go through show you how I made this. All of these were made out of just a couple 1x12s pine. You can pick up at any local box store. I picked up 2 sheets of insulation of the 2-inch pink board and 2 sheets of the 1-inch foil face board. I got all my stuff from Menards. I know that a lot of the different big box stores has all that. I ended up using my table saw, not this table saw. I have a portable table saw that I could hook a shop vac up, because when I was cutting through it, I didn't want all this getting into my filters and stuff that are down here. But you can see how nice using a table saw works on cutting these foam insulation boards out through. Let's talk about the feeder board first. So this is a candy board. There's a lot of different beekeepers, some very popular ones that are out there that use a very similar style board. They've been around for a long time, and I'm going to really try my luck at it this year. The thing is, they're kind of expensive. They're $30 to $50 a piece, and that a lot of times that doesn't even come with the candy on it. I'm not going to go into the candy that you'll end up putting on this, but I'll go into the construction of this candy board. So I started with just my general frame, and if you watch my previous video about making the honey supers, I use the same dimensions. So you're gonna, I had the 1x12 sheets, and I cut them down to specific sizes. I used 16 1/4. That's for your short side. And then because I do a rabbited edge, the long side ends up being 19 1/8. So 16 1/4, 19 1/8. And that gives you that perfect square, or I should say rectangle, that comes out to the 19 7/8 by 16 1/4 board. So once I cut those boards out, so this isn't to size, this is a piece of scrap that I had. So I cut all my pieces to size, and then what I did is I used the dado stack, which you can see on here, and I ran all these here in order to get my rabbited edge. That gives me this edge right here, and I only rabbited the 16 1/4 edge out, and because this is 3/4 of an inch, that ends up being 3/8. I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but again, it's the same as my previous video where I make the boxes. Now I'm just explaining how I went through. So I have a full board, I rabbited out both edges, and then I determined what size I wanted. Well, I knew that my insulation board was 2 inches, so I wanted it 2, and I think I maybe did 2 1/16, 2 inches and 1/16. And then that would also give me enough room that I could use the same pieces, and you'll see I had to do another channel in here where the foil face insulation will sit in there. That then gave me enough of a lip here that I can fill that candy up in there. So we're talking a lot of numbers. Let me just kind of walk you through. So first, cut your pieces to size. Next, I rabbited out each side, and then I cut the strips out of each piece. Once I had all the strips cut out, I have 1-inch foil face, and I'll show you what a piece of that looks like without the So this is what it looks like, and I will put in the comments the exact piece that I got, but I got the 1-inch foil faced insulation board. The foil is because you're putting a hot candy on this, And also the bees then won't chew into that at all when the candy's on there. So this is where it'll sit. So this is what it looks like. This is 1 inch. So I needed to then wrap it in where this is going to sit nice and tight inside of there. So then I had all my pieces cut and I channeled in 1 inch. I ended up leaving a 1/4 inch on top and about 3/4 of an inch on the edge up here, which then gives you the 2 inches. So the channel itself is 1 inch. Okay, so now what I want to do is assemble it. So I have my two 16 1/4 pieces and my two 19 1/8 pieces. I built this jig because I ended up wanting to make a whole bunch, and this allowed me working by myself in order to kind of hold these pieces in place. So they should just slide in. I want to make sure that I have obviously the same edges go around, otherwise you'll notice right away that it doesn't work. So that slides in like that. This piece will slide in down here. So this way, by having this jig, I can hold my pieces, glue them all in one go. So I'm going to kind of prep them out. That one up here is a little bit tight. There's some glue that I've used before that has dried, so it's a little tighter there, but we're still going to be good. So I want to glue. I use Titebond 3. It's a weather-resistant glue, or I should say it's a little bit more waterproof. Put some on both sides, get some up on the edges, and then you'll also see that we'll use a construction adhesive as well. So I slide this in there, and I want to push this piece nice and tight. So that's there. This is here. So now, by having this jig in here, and I just use some cut-off blocks in order to set it up, I like to put 3 staples. This will give me the initial frame. So then once I have that initially stapled in, I'll pop it out of my jig. It's going to look like this. This is going to allow me a little bit of flex here. And what that is going to let me do is take our foil face, we'll put some construction adhesive in here, we'll kind of separate it out, we'll put it in place, and as that closes up, the construction adhesive will create that barrier in there, so when we put that hot candy on there, it's not going to seep through. So next, I'm using Loctite's PL300 foam board construction adhesive. It's a little bit, it will not melt any of the foam board, and it also binds really well with wood. It's going to create that barrier, like I said, so that your hot candy doesn't go through. So I'm going to start, I'm going to run the bead of this just right in the middle, go through. Move this up here for just a second. Now I want to do this on the top. We'll take our Titebond 3, we'll put it on the edges again. This piece is not really on the hive, is not going to be holding a whole lot outside of the little bit of candy that's on there. So from a structural standpoint, this will be more than enough. So again, when I put this in here, this is the thick side, so the thicker side is where I want the candy to be, so I need the foil to face this side. So I'm going to kind of open it up a little bit as I slide it down, and then I'll put it in the groove. If I were to keep it tight and slide it down, I'll push all that adhesive down, and it's a little bit trickier. So I can kind of feel it as I push with my thumbs. I can feel that adhesive spread out. And now what I'll do is I'll match up this. It has the glue on it, has the adhesive in there. We'll form that in there. We should see some nice squeeze out. If I press down like I will, you see that nice glue squeeze out. So now we'll go through and we'll nail it again. When you hold this, I know from experience, don't put your thumbs anywhere near it. These staples like to follow the grain and they'll shoot out the sides every once in a while. So I'll put my hand here, away from where the staples can come out. 1, 2, 3. Per normal, right when we're talking, the generator, or the air compressor turns on. So again, I want to press this down nice and tight. Take my staple gun. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now, just like our boxes though, I can come through. I'm going to turn it on its side. And because we got this nice rabbet, we can take some staples and put them in this way. Give us a little bit more of that cross bracing to just really build a nice, sturdy box. We'll flip it around, do the same thing. Flip it over. And one more. Okay, so there we have it. You see the finished product. There's a little bit of a gap here, but that glue is going to fill in. You can see this is nice and sealed. That construction adhesive, I think it says it takes about a week to fully cure. So get to making them now. I'm not going to do a screen. Some people will put a metal screen on here so it doesn't fall out. I'll put the candy right on here. We'll put it onto the hive. And as the moisture comes in here, or if it breaks apart, it's only going to fall in the hive. It's not going to do anything wrong. So that's a really quick, easy way to make your own candy boards. Lastly, that candy board will go on the hive, but then I want to have some more top insulation on there. We've built our frames. This is solely to house our 2-inch insulation. So I guess I could have waited to put these together, use some of that construction adhesive, which if I had to do it again, I probably would. I would build it just the same way, put some construction adhesive on there, slide this in there, put the cover on. I built all these out ahead of time, so then what I did is I created these, cut these out, and these fit nice kind of and tight into here. So they fit in like this. And then what I ended up doing, this one's finished here, is I just took some screws. I think they're like 3-inch screws. I had a big pail of them from when I built a deck. It just holds it in place. You know, if I punched this real hard, it would come out. But again, all this is doing is sitting on the hive. Same thing. I don't know that I'll stain this or paint this. Maybe just from an aesthetic reason I will. But it's going to be on the hive for just a few months. There'll be a top cover on this. This wood isn't going to get exposed a whole lot. So there you have it. You have the candy board where you'll put the candy. So this will go on the hive here. This will sit on top of this, and that creates significant R value on top of your hive. So as that moisture comes up, it's really going to not sit on top of the hive and then drip down. It'll go to the edges, just like it would inside of a tree, or just, you know, like there's been a ton of videos on that. You'll put the top cover on this, and every once in a while you go out, you check these boards, and switch them out as needed. So thanks for watching. I hope this saves you some money, saves some ideas. That's how I did it. There's several different ways to do it.